Picture this for a moment. A massive airplane glides gently onto the runway, its engines letting out a final, familiar roar. This plane has soared over oceans, crossed continents, and carved silent arcs through midnight skies. It's carried business travelers, families on vacation, medical emergency patients, and maybe even a few famous faces. For decades, rain or shine, this machine has been a symbol of possibility and adventure. But today, as those wheels touch down, it isn't just ending another routine flight. It's signaling the close of its entire flying career. Its last landing after millions of air miles is the beginning of an entirely new story. So what really happens next? Is the airplane simply left to rust away somewhere, forgotten and broken? Or does it embark on a journey that's just as fascinating as its days in the sky? If you've ever looked out an airport window and wondered what becomes of these retired giants, you're about to discover a world that blends engineering with art, industry with sustainability. We're taking you deep inside airplane graveyards, uncovering how planes are carefully dismantled and revealing the creative ways their parts find brand new lives. Stick around as we unravel the afterlife of airplanes, from sun-bleached boneyards to funky furniture, eco-friendly hotels, and so much more. And don't forget, if you love aviation or just a good story, hit that subscribe button for more amazing journeys. Let's begin at the end, where most retired airplanes go for their next act. When airlines decide that a plane's time is up, they don't just push it aside or haul it to a scrapyard. Instead, many wind up at airplane graveyards, also called aircraft storage facilities, or more affectionately, the boneyard. And believe it or not, these sites are anything but bleak or terrifying. They're actually vast, almost majestic stretches of open land, filled with rows upon rows of silent airliners framed by blue skies. What is an airplane graveyard? Take a moment to imagine it. The Sonoran Desert of Arizona, where the sun blazes and the humidity is nearly non-existent. Here at the famous Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, known as the Boneyard, thousands of decommissioned planes spread out in neat formation. Everything from military fighters and bombers to commercial jets and cargo aircraft sits quietly, their silver wings and faded logos sparkling in the desert light. Why the desert? It's all about preservation. Planes are made mainly of metal and high-tech composites, which can corrode badly in damp or humid climates. A hot, dry environment like Arizona or California dramatically slows down the rusting process. That means a retired plane can wait here for years, sometimes decades, without falling apart. But these graveyards aren't just massive parking lots. They're part museum, part mechanics workshop, and part recycling hub. Some planes rest here until they're needed for parts, others wait to be scrapped, and a lucky few are brought back to life if demand suddenly spikes in the aviation industry. Why are planes sent here? The reasons for retirement are varied. Imagine a fleet of jets built during the 1980s, reliable but no longer fuel efficient when compared to today's quieter, greener models. Maybe a newer technology appears, one that makes older planes less profitable to run. Sometimes a new global regulation bans an engine or design, making certain planes obsolete almost overnight. And of course, wear and tear takes a toll. Each plane is assessed for age, safety, economics, and environmental impact. Planes arriving at the boneyard are evaluated by specialists. Some are simply put into long-term storage, protected and seal-wrapped so they can potentially return to the skies. Others are flagged for immediate disassembly, destined for their next chapter. What really happens once the airline hands over the keys? Welcome to the meticulous, almost surgical world of aircraft dismantling, a complex process that can take weeks or even months for a single large jet. Step 1. Preparing for deconstruction. Before anything is touched, technicians assess the entire aircraft and make it safe to work on. Every last bit of fuel, hydraulic fluid, oil, and coolant is carefully drained into secure containers. Aviation fluids are hazardous, but in the hands of experts, much of this material is recycled or treated for safe disposal. Beyond the fluids, batteries and pressurized tanks are removed for recycling, and any hazardous materials, like old wiring insulated with materials no longer considered safe, are handled according to strict environmental regulations. Step 2. Stripping out the treasure. Think of an old airplane as a treasure chest for the aviation world. Engines, powerful, high-tech, and immensely valuable. Even secondhand, a jet engine can fetch millions. Some engines are refurbished and installed on other aircraft. Others are broken down for parts. Avionics and electronics, navigation computers, radar domes, GPS units, black boxes, and cockpit displays often outlive the airframe and find second lives in other planes or flight simulators. Cabin fittings, those familiar airline seats, overhead bins, even the little folding trays can be resold or recycled for use in commercial aviation, private jets, museums, or even cafes and home theaters. Absolutely nothing goes to waste if it has a useful second act. This stage is part scavenger hunt, part high-tech operation. Step 3. Breaking down the body. After all the valuable parts are gone, you're left with what looks like a near-empty shell, a bare fuselage, wings, and tail section, often dotted with access panels and wiring. Specialized crews break down these structures into manageable pieces. The primary material, high-grade aircraft aluminum alloy, is sorted, cleaned, and prepared for melting at recycling plants. The neat twist? Aluminum from an old Boeing or Airbus can return as new airplane parts, but it also finds its way into soda cans, cars, window frames, and even laptops. Plastics, composite panels, and insulation materials are also carefully sorted. Some composite materials are reused, and engineers are working every year to make recycling processes even more efficient. So where do all these airplane parts end up? Let's take a journey through some of their most surprising afterlives. Unique furniture and cafes. Repurposed airplane parts are a designer's dream. Aircraft seats become plush armchairs or cinema seating. Wing flaps, polished and mounted on stands, adorn the lobbies of tech company headquarters. Upcycled cabin windows serve as quirky picture frames for aviation lovers. Some innovative companies now specialize in transforming complex aircraft parts into designer furniture. Want to sit on an authentic business class seat while gaming at home? It's possible. Aviation art and sculpture. Artists around the world are fascinated by retired airplanes. Huge turbine blades become giant wind chimes, stately garden gates, or dazzling public sculptures. The gleaming surface of an aircraft's skin provides a perfect canvas. You'll find airplane art in museums and galleries worldwide, hotels, homes, and architecture. Would you stay the night in an airplane hotel? All over the world, creative architects are giving fuselages a new life, transforming them into boutique hotel rooms, private cabins, or unique homes. Standout examples include a luxury hotel in the Costa Rican jungle made entirely from an old 727 and a restaurant in the Netherlands featuring a full-size DC-3 as its main dining room. Museums and flight simulators. Retired cockpits, navigation panels, and flight controls often find their way into aviation museums and pilot training centers. Next time you visit a museum and step into a flight simulator, chances are you're at the controls of a system that once cruised at 35,000 feet over the Atlantic. Wind energy and beyond. One of the most inspiring stories comes from the world of renewable energy. The same engineering that built bulletproof airplane engines and turbine blades is now helping power the world. In some cases, dismantled engines are retrofitted as wind turbines for wind farms, while composite panels are sometimes used in modern eco-housing designs. The environmental impact of aviation is a constant topic of debate. One thing is clear: How we handle retired planes can make a massive difference. Thanks to evolving technology and new regulations, more than 90% of a commercial airliner's mass can now be recycled or reused. But the industry is always hunting for new breakthroughs. Modular design. Engineers are creating planes with easier disassembly in mind, using fewer adhesives and simpler connections. New composite recycling. Techniques are being invented to break down advanced plastic carbon composites, which used to be thrown out, into forms suitable for reuse in everything from cars to sports gear. A growing number of startups are dedicated solely to airplane upcycling, turning yesterday's jets into tomorrow's eco-friendly materials. Airlines, too, are touting their recycling efforts as part of a broader push toward greener travel. By recycling materials, they're keeping costs down, supporting the environment, and appealing to consumers' desire for responsible business. Let's go on a whirlwind tour. From California to Europe to Africa, airplane recycling is a truly global business. In Mojave, California, business is booming. Not only are thousands of airliners stored in the desert, but the region is now home to world-leading recycling companies that melt, reshape, and resell aluminum around the world. In Tarbes, France, entire teams specialize in converting massive Airbus A380s into spare parts for a worldwide fleet that's still flying. Over in South Africa, local artisans salvage materials from old aircraft to craft jewelry, lamps, and even playground equipment for their communities. Every airplane graveyard has its own roster of legends. From historic Cold War bombers in Tucson, to one-of-a-kind military prototypes in the Nevada desert, to rare classic commercial jets in European storage sites. The transformation of an old airplane isn't just about logistics, recycling, or innovation. It's about honoring history while embracing a sustainable future. Each aircraft holds decades of stories, crowded family holidays, emergency landings, joyful reunions, and peaceful business trips. When its time is up, a new life begins, sometimes more inspiring than the first. Next time you buckle up aboard a flight or pass by a parked jet, remember, these aviation giants never really disappear. Their legacy lives on everywhere you look, in the things you touch, the energy that powers your home, and the art that brightens your city. If you've enjoyed peeking behind the curtain at the secret lives of old airplanes, hit like and consider subscribing for more fascinating journeys. Got an idea of how you'd reuse an airplane part? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what creative ideas the aviation community comes up with. And keep those eyes on the skies. Every flight tells a story, and sometimes the best stories begin after the final landing. Fly safe, dream big, and we'll see you in the next video.